All right, everybody, we're going to get started here today for our 2018 Fall Sports Media Day. We're trying something out new this year, and we've got our volleyball team here, which we're pretty excited about. And I'm just going to run down quick on how everything's going to go for you guys, and then we'll get rolling. So we'll start out with Dr. Downs and Josh Moon giving a little bit of a talk, and then you'll hear from the volleyball team, followed by the football team, and both coaches will open it up for questions throughout the media day. So we'll get things started with Dr. Downs.
Good morning. How's everybody today? I guess we have a two-mic scenario today, so I have to hold one and speak into both. We're real pleased to start fall. Is anybody else excited? I love fall. A welcome to everyone here, also a welcome to everyone online. The excitement on campus is really building. Yesterday we started our meetings with all the faculty and staff, so this is Gear Up Week. I know the student athletes, you've been here already working out hard and hopefully getting enough rest and food in between, but you're getting ready for your seasons. So we're excited about everything that's happening on campus. The football team picked a theme this year, and I guess it's one word, finish, which I kind of like that. Finish. I don't know if the volleyball team wants to adopt it, but you may come up with your own one word that's going to motivate you. And I like it because in order to finish something, you must first begin. You got to start something, and that's what we're doing at Northern State University. When I arrived on campus, we were fortunate to have some local sponsors that said, let's help jumpstart Northern State University into its next level of performance. And that's happening. So we have a campus master plan, and if you look at that master plan, and you fast forward, we've done a lot of things. Today, we're just finishing the athletic and recreation field, so I think football is fairly excited to have a cool surface to practice on. We also have soccer that has a new competition and practice field. That's $6.3 million. Actually a little more, but we'll go with 6.3. Big investment. And it's an investment in the students and the student experience. Students that play on that field, practice on that field, intramurals, recreation, all those facilities help increase the student experience. Then you look up and you say, well, the next phase of our plan is that we're going to build a regional sports complex. So that's an even bigger project, and we're excited to do that. And we're going to finish all these projects. Before we can do that, we're also finishing the Regional Science Center, which is at 12th and State. We stole the practice football field, and I promised Coach Dosh, I said, we'll get you a better field. And he looked at me very certainly and said, I hope so. So we're good to our promise. So today, we're moving forward. Science building will be done next fall. The School for the Blind will break ground probably in September, maybe sooner. That's only 3 weeks away. So that's going to happen. And that opens up the opportunity to then, once they're done with building and they move into the School for the Blind, where Jerdy used to be, then we'll be able to start the sports complex. So over the past 2 years, we've done a lot, including putting in 3 new residence halls. Anybody live in those residence halls? They're pretty awesome, aren't they? So everything we do is to increase the student experience. And what we're doing is overhauling the campus from a physical perspective. We're constantly challenging ourselves to do better in terms of what we do academically to make sure that you're prepared. And the athletics program, I'd like to thank Josh Moon and all the coaching staff and all the administrative staff for athletics. They're challenging you as well and providing experiences and opportunities for you to grow as a student athlete. So all these things are happening at once. But what I can tell you is that we're going to finish all of it. And if we go back to February and March, the real theme here is not only are we not done, we're never done. Because after all that stuff's finished, we already have a list of other things that we're going to keep grinding towards and moving towards as an institution, on behalf of every student and every student athlete at Northern State University. So we're committed to that. You should be proud of that, and you should be a part of that. So we're going to finish, and then we're going to start over, and we're going to do more things and finish those things as well. So the analogy of finish really works well for the athletic programs. Each fall, the teams begin a new season. There's new players, there's a few new coaches, and there's going to be new opportunities. I think our offense this year in football is going to be different. That's what the word on the street is, and it's good to bring in a new, fresh perspective. I know that our teams will finish, and you'll finish every game with style, and you'll play all the way until the buzzer or the horn sounds. If you look at on the court, it's important, or on the field. But the thing that we're really proud of with our student athletes is how well you perform in the classroom. It's critical because you're a student-athlete, and you're doing a great job. The overall classroom GPA for all of our student athletes is over 3.3. That's pretty phenomenal. When I go to conferences with other college presidents and I tell them that, they ask me to repeat the number. And I say, no, 3.3, not 2.3. And they say, wow, how do you do that? I say, well, it's our coaches that go out and find great young people that are committed to being a student athlete. And they come here and they work as hard in the classroom as they do to prepare for their competition. So I know that every one of you will finish every game, every season, and you'll finish your degree as well. As a former student athlete, I know what this takes. It means you have a level of commitment that's different than the non-student athlete or the non-band person or the non-person that's involved in such an intensive activity. It means you're better at time management. It means you're more committed to both sides of the dash, being a student and an athlete, and that's critical. So let's have a round of applause for all of our student athletes. Volleyball has a 3.65 GPA. Wow. Yeah, who said that? Wow. That's pretty awesome. So in the process of being a student athlete, you make friends and you prepare yourselves for life beyond college. And we have a new branding and marketing statement that says, unleash your potential. That's what you're doing as a young person, as a student, and an athlete. Unleash your potential. Be prepared for everything that's going to come before you today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your lives. So as I was thinking about my remarks this morning, I thought, how do I describe where we are in the continuum of fall? And what I have is premonitions of fall. I stood out on my back porch this morning with my two dogs, and it was 59 degrees. Nice little cool, brisk air. The sky was clear, light breeze, and I said, it's almost fall. And I love fall. When I think of fall, I think of volleyball, you'll be on the court. Football will be on the field, playing and practicing. And soccer, they'll be on their new pitch, as the Brits call it, and they'll be ready to play and compete. I know that each one of you will compete and challenge yourselves. So let's have a great fall season and go Wolves.
Thank you, Dr. Downs. When we were working on scheduling this meeting, a couple of dates came out and Dr. Downs couldn't make it, so we're like, hey, we're just going to move forward with this meeting, and he's like, no, this is important, I need to be there. And I think it speaks a lot to our president, how he feels about our student athletes, and then what's going on with this campus and all the amazing things that are happening. So thank you, Dr. Downs, for your leadership and support of our entire athletic program. I'd like to thank our great staff and coaches. Why don't you guys just stand up quick for all you do for our department. Yeah, stand up, coaches, staff. We got a lot of them here, yep. Thank you for all you do every day. Don't get recognized enough. When we talk volleyball, this year's theme is Rise. So we got Finish and we got Rise. So I think that's a great analogy to talk about Wolves volleyball. The culture of this program has changed so much in the past 8 years under Coach Aldridge, where it's the point where we are talking about NSIC championships, deep NCAA tournament runs, and national championships. And that's awesome. This program is as close to any of our programs in our department that can talk like that. And men's basketball paved the way last year with their run. Women's basketball has been phenomenal over the years. And we talked last week to the volleyball team. It's your turn. And I think we believe that. Our senior leadership believes that. And we're excited to see what happens this year. As Dr. Downs mentioned, a 3.65 GPA, so they led our department. So that speaks to our best students are our best athletes. And so volleyball is a great example. That's a great job of what you do in the classroom. The program has had a couple of cool stats here. 40 consecutive weeks in the top 25. Number 9 in the country preseason right now. 2017 season was their third NCAA tournament appearance in school history, and they are led by Coach Brent Aldridge, who's done an excellent job building this culture of winning, a culture of success. He's a 2-time NSIC Coach of the Year. He's got 137 wins, and he's in his 8th season here with Wolves Volleyball. I'd like to bring up our head volleyball coach, Brent Aldridge.
Well, thanks, Josh. This is new territory, kind of like everything else that has been going on the last 8 years. And as you can see, this is one of the biggest teams. I know football has like 357 guys, which they need. But we have 18 young women. And the cool thing is we return 10 people that played last year. Not all of them starting, but before I get going here, I want to thank my wife and my kids. I think they're my kids. I don't see them very often, and they put up with me being gone a lot. And yeah, I'm gone a lot. And Lindsay and Holly, who's a first-year coach, will now understand how much we do put into it. And it's a wonderful thing to be here, I feel like, at Northern. And before I get going with our season outlook, I want to thank Josh and Dr. Downs and Zach, Terry, Ashley, Hillary, and the NSU Foundation, because it's gone so far. If you saw our locker room, and it was not where it needed to be. And so I think our kids have also put the time in doing club tournaments and stuff behind the scenes to help pave the way for some of the people that put the money in didn't reap the benefits, and so we're kind of reaping the benefits. And I also want to put a little prayer out to Bob Olson, the guy that hired me. Him and Zach were the main reason why my wife and I decided to come here. And Bob had a little setback here, but it sounds like he's on the mend, hopefully. And so we all just say a prayer for Bob and his family. And it's a little emotional because, again, I wouldn't have been here. After that one, I really want to, Lindsay and Holly, take a stand up here. Lindsay started out as my GA and quickly became apparent that she's got coaching in her blood. And so she's in her 3rd season with me. Wow, it's 8 seasons here. Kind of unbelievable that I've been here 8 years already. And we do have the reigning Aberdeen, I don't even know, youth coach of the year, but it was softball. So I said, Holly, now you got to learn how to coach volleyball. So yeah, she was in the paper, so she's kind of a big deal. So if you see her on campus, am I embarrassing you yet? Okay, good. But I'm excited to have those two in the gym, and I think it's the most complete staff I've had. Lindsay's coaching the middles, and Hal's has our hobbits, as I call them, and we have a bunch of them. We have 5 of them. And so getting on to the, RISE. What's RISE mean? RISE means, our conference is pretty good, I think. If you look, the top 3 teams in the nation, 1, 2, and 3 are Concordia, Southwest, and Duluth. And so we're 4th in the conference, and we're 9th in the nation. What that means is, you know what you do with paper. As I tell our kids, really doesn't mean anything to us right now until the end of the year. Season outlook, we're not looking any further than that first battle that we have with Western Oregon. We're taking Lexi Lockhart as close as we could get her home, and she's from Washington, and so we're getting her out to Oregon, and that's really it. That's where we start. We're not looking at Concordia, and we got a lot of matches before then, so we have 18 players, 10 return. that have had a lot of experience, and we have 4 first-team All-NSIC players returning, first time in school history. And we also have a returning All-American in Haley Bush, who I'm sure it's been chronicled. She played on one leg basically last year for us and did a nice job. We have 7 freshmen that are all pushing for playing time. And anyone that knows me, if you win it, you get it. If you don't win it, you better do something about it, because that's the only way to get it. Hard work, grind, watch film, and interesting fact, we have 6 teams in the NSIC that are in the top 25 and 2 more that are in the top 40. And so our path is what we want it to be, hard. And for us to rise, in other words, climb the ladder and be accepted, I suppose, with those top 3 teams, we have to beat them. That's it. That's the bottom line. No one cares if we don't. It's not about just giving a good effort. And I thought we took a step last year by going to the regional, but we got to keep going and finish is what football uses. We have to finish. We're going to win the first playoff game in school history, the first match, and go from there and make a deep run. So the process is really the prize for us. It's not about, I don't know, all the foo-foo crap that goes on preseason. It's about the process of doing things the right way and watching film and getting in the gym and beating someone out and earning your way. So, yeah, there's no little things. There's no little things. Every day we get after it, and it's on the whiteboard, and what we do is what we do. And I could really care less what everyone else in the conference does, because we're going to keep doing it the way we do it, and we just got to be just a little bit better. So, I'd like to bring up Ashley Roselle and Haley Bush, the reigning All-American here, and they're going to talk just a little bit about their season, who they are, all that stuff.
Hi, my name's Haley Bush. I'm an outside hitter, senior from Casson, Minnesota, and I will graduate in December with a marketing degree. My main goal of the season is obviously to win a national championship, but to do so, we have to focus on our first game, and we have to focus on winning the conference championship and making it past the first round and just being better than we were last year. So our main goal is just to focus on practice and be better every day.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Roselle. I am a redshirt junior setter from Warner, South Dakota. I'm an accounting major. And then as far as our season goes, I think, as every team should have for themselves, we have very high expectations. We want to carry and continue that success that we had last year, but then in that same note, it's a new year. We need to earn that respect just like we did last year. And like Coach said, I think that starts next week in Portland, and I think we're all excited to get started.
We'll open up for questions. This is usually the awkward part of this whole thing. Hopefully some people have questions for either myself or these 2 young women. Yes, in the back, the young gentleman.
Ashley, can you beat Bo one-on-one?
Every time.
I can too.
No, she can't. We certainly appreciate your support, and we're glad to actually be a part of this. Yes, Mr. Moon.
How do you go about playing your non-conference schedule? What goes into that process for you if you look at your first 2 weeks of the season?
Well, last year we definitely looked to bolster it, and we went to School of Mines. This year it was about taking 2 kids closer to home for their parents. I told Lexi if she came here, I would get her as close to home as we could, and I think we played 3 teams that won around 20 matches last year. So in our conference last year we played 15 teams in the top 25 out of 30, and I think right now on the schedule we have 8 for sure in our conference. Tiffin and Colorado Christian are both very nice programs, and Western Oregon, the Wolves, there'll be some Wolves on Wolves crime out there, and we hope to get the best of that.
Haley, how about going back to Northern from where you were to now, kind of the whole journey? What's the experience been like for you?
Well, the experiences have been quite interesting. I think that my biggest thing was I kind of took this school for granted when I was first here. So when I wanted to come back, it was kind of me swallowing my pride and accepting that I did do that. But I am so thankful. I want to finish off this year really strong. Like, I want to make it, for Coach to accept me back, I want it to be ending on a high note, and just, everyone in the whole department for accepting me back. And I just want to prove to them that it was worth it.
Anyone else?
Brent, you have quite a few girls coming back, but then you have some new girls. Will we see any different offensive play with some of the new kids, running some different sets, anything new?
We're pretty vanilla. It's high pick and roll, but we to use a basketball term, but if you watch the NBA, hey, give LeBron the ball, high pick and roll, and see if you can get a matchup. And we look more at matchups, and we want to hit about 300. So baseball terms, that's pretty good. We were close to that. In 15, we hit 327, led the nation. And so we're simple, but you got to figure out how to kind of break it down and defend us. And what Ashley's job is as a starting setter to look at matchups and feed the beast here standing next to me and make sure people have to defend her. And it's not that easy. They couldn't even do it when she had one leg. So now she's healthy. She's, I want to give a shout out to Fritz because he did a great job. We got about 8 or 9 kids that are right near 10 feet. And that's a big number for a D2. Division I, maybe that's not that big a deal, but I think he's done a great job. All of our kids increased. If they get in and bust it with Fritz, they're going to increase their vertical. And really for us, that's been the major hurdle coming in 2011. Our outsides were touching 9'11" or 9'4", and Bush is touching almost 10 feet. And so we got several kids right there, and even our young kids. We got lots of young physical kids, and so not really going to change our offense. You're going to see a lot of familiar faces, or maybe 1 or 2 new ones on the court. But we also may, for the first time, and since I've been here, been able to redshirt kids, which would be kind of fun.
I noticed your recruits, there's a lot of taller recruits this year. Previous years we talked about going up against the monsters of Augie and what have you. Do the other teams in the conference play into your recruiting height at all, or is it just kind of, whoever you can find that fits your system?
Yeah, the latter. We are kind of built on speed. We've never been big, but the game of volleyball is getting bigger, where it used to be 5'7" outsides, and now you got 5'11", and Hallie is 6'3", and so we're building to try to get not only fast, but we want to be taller. And if you're 6'3", you're always 6'3". At the end of the day, if you're 5'7", you get tired. You're still 5'7", and so we've definitely improved that physicalness, and then the rest is Fritz's doing to increase not just the height, but we want to increase that vertical ability, and no doubt we're going to get there. Anyone else? Well, thanks for showing up, you guys.
Thanks, Coach Aldridge. We're going to shift gears and talk about football. So the theme today is a culture of winning, and that's what NSU football has been here. 4 straight winning seasons. Coach Dosh is in his 9th year leading this program. Probably the best stat, 11 straight semesters of about 3.0 GPA. So to have 100 some student athletes have that mark 11 straight semesters says it's a lot about the culture that Coach Dosh has instilled in his assistant coaches, how important that is. Academics, again, our best academic students are our best athletes. Our All-Americans, our national champions, those are our best students. You're going to see that again with NSU football. So Coach Dosh is in his 9th season. He has been the NSIC Coach of the Year. He has 65 wins. And this year, we're excited for the schedule. We have our Egg Bowl. It's going to be the Midco game of the week to open up on the 6th of September. And we also have our traditional Gypsy Days game and Blackout Cancer game. So our Gypsy Days, by far the biggest game in our conference, by at least a couple thousand fans. So as we move forward here, we start talking about the new facility, a new stadium. all those things, those traditions are going to get enhanced. You might do a walk here with our fans when we get the new stadium. Just all these things that we've never done before. Movie nights with Dakota Bank Stadium. And then how do we enhance events like Gypsy Days or the Egg Bowl? It's just going to get better and better as we break ground on that facility. So we're really thankful of all the things that are happening here on campus, and especially going to impact our football program. It already has this year with the practice facility that our young men are competing on and practicing on every day. So let's bring up our head football coach, Tom Dosh.
Thank you, Josh. Thanks everyone for coming, and Brent already hit on a lot of people, so I'm not going to roll through and thank everybody, but I will echo what Brent said. Continue with your prayers for Coach Olson, just like me and 3 or 4 other coaches in here. He was the guy that hired me too 9 years ago. So just a northern guy through and through. Everybody here knows him, knows that. So appreciate that. Going to give him make a few introductions. First off, I'm going to start with my wife Tina, sitting in the back row, because if I start with the staff, then I forget about her, then I get in trouble when I get home, and that's not worth it. So. And my son Matthew is right beside her. He's been at all of our practices, bouncing around, staying on the hop. So our daughter Lauren is in cross country and couldn't be here. So thank you to my family. First off, much like Brent, once the season starts, you just have some vague resemblances of what your kids look like sometimes. So it's good that Matthew's at practice. So when I'm out there and I look over, oh, that's what he looks like again. So he's bouncing around, but that's really the lifestyle. Anybody in here who's coaching or in athletics knows that. So yeah, my wife likes it, I think, because she pretty much has the control of the remote control then for the next 3 months. So that's a pretty good deal for her. So anyway, going to introduce our staff, and they're all standing in the back of the room. Really, I'll start with our coordinators. Matt Rakowski is way back there. Matt's in his 7th year in our program. A variety of roles. He's been here in just about every role possible as a coach. Coordinating our defense, coaching our secondary, doing a great job, bringing great energy, bringing the turnover belt to practice every day. Our offensive coordinator, Myers Hendrickson, where are you at, Coach Hendrickson? Again, Myers was hired end of November of last year. And like Dr. Downs said, really a fresh start in what we're doing offensively, and you're going to see some things that are going to carry over and that are going to look similar, and you're going to see a lot of things that are going to look different. But Myers is just a real passionate football coach and recruiter and brings that every day. The godfather of our coaching staff, Maya Tupou. What up, Tup? Right there. He's been here for 15 years in every way, shape, and form, and coaching our wide receivers, just doing a fantastic job. Zach Parks, our offensive line coach. Zach, again, in his first year, Zach was an offensive coordinator at the college level for 3 seasons, and had an opening as an offensive line coach, and he joined our staff last January. So anytime you can get a guy that's been calling his own plays and running his own offense, and you get him in your staff, just brings a whole nother dimension to that, and that's been huge for us to have Zach on board. Kurt Alinka, Kurt's our defensive line coach, and much like Zach, has been a coordinator. Kurt's been a special teams coordinator and a defensive coordinator. Kurt's in his 5th year in our program as a coach. Coached our running backs the last 2 years, and now takes over our defensive line. Really involved in special teams as well. Does a great job in special teams as well. So with our full-time assistants, we've got a good combination there, really, of some guys that have been in this program a long time. Really, if you need a key to any room on campus, just about, you can ask Maya Tupou and he'll find it, or he has it. And but we've also got guys who are bringing some new life and new blood into the program, and you need to have that too. So I like the combination of guys. And then we've got our 3 graduate assistants: Ben Watkins, coaching our outside linebackers; Gerardo Magana, who was a captain for us. You see his name down on the captain's board downstairs. He's in his 4th year total in our program, 2 as a player, 2 as a graduate assistant. And Jared Gallatin in his 1st year coaching our cornerbacks. We've also got Mike Famigletti is our running backs coach, assistant recruiting coordinator. He assists Coach Tupou. as our recruiting coordinator, and then also Terry Dosh, Coach Terry Dosh, in his second year coaching here, and more than 2 years coaching total overall. Would that be right? But Terry was at Ron Colley for a long time, and Terry was. Last year we had a little staff issue with one of our graduate assistants. His mom was Pat Sweeney's mom was going through some health issues, fighting cancer, and so Pat had to leave us after one game, and Terry took over and coached our cornerbacks. Did a fantastic job, and then this year he's coaching the offensive line. So he dared one of the players to say something to me this morning, and the guy did it, and I talked to the player about it, and we had a good laugh about it. But I said, I can't fire him. You can't fire a volunteer coach. So he's really kind of playing with house money here for us. But again, Terry just being a fantastic guy from a standpoint of just obviously coached a ton of football games and brings a lot of things to the table. And it's good to have a guy like that who's not a coordinator, who's not. Your coordinators and your other guys really get locked into what am I doing? What's the next series? What's this and that and the other. And it's great to have a guy like Terry who's able to think about some game situation things and whether it be clock management or things going on in the game that it's fantastic to have. So I appreciate Terry, and then also Cody Braggs. Is Braggs here someplace? He's our student assistant, and Braggs was a captain for us, all conference for us the last couple of years, and he's back. So that's the staff. So give it up for those guys if you would, please. And then the one guy that I will acknowledge, Dylan Fritz, our head strength and conditioning coach, is 6th year, 5th year, total? 6th year. And phenomenal. I told our team this last Monday. We reported he's the best strength coach in the country. And clearly football is going to we have the most guys, and we probably and we have the least number of games, right? So that means we probably spend the most time in the weight room because we don't have as many games and we have more people there. So. And it's just phenomenal to see what our guys how our bodies have changed and guys have changed and just the mindset guys bring. Not only freshmen, which you're going to see that when 18, 19-year-old kids get into the weight room for the first time. But what's remarkable to me is when you have some of these guys, these 4th and 5th year seniors who sometimes you get to a certain point where it's hard to put on a lot of weight or make big gains in the weight room because you've been doing it for several years. And we saw that with several of these guys here where they made 30, 40-pound jumps in some certain lifts. And you don't see that very often. And so Body by Fritz, it's a lifestyle, and he's just done a fantastic job with that. Okay, before I bring the two guys up here, I'll first of all, ladies, 3.6 GPA, fantastic, way to go. That's what I had back in my day. I had a 1.8 in undergrad, went to graduate school, got a 1.8 there as well. So I was a 3.6. So welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. It's good to have you aboard. Anyway, that's unbelievable. So way to go on that. But so yeah, just as Josh has said, we've been said, clearly the most obvious thing for us is having a new practice facility, and you go from what we had before, which you make the best of it, to what we have now, where you've got really the best practice facility you could really ask for as far as space and turf and everything else. It's just been phenomenal for our football program, and clearly they're still doing a few things out there with the pavilion and that sort of thing, and those are just minor things. But for us to be able to go out and get good work in every day and have a lot of room to do it, football is really, you got 105 guys, you need a lot of space, and you got to teach and coach guys, and you need room to do it, and you need to have a good surface. And so it's been just fantastic, and then with the addition of Dakota Bank coming here in a few years, really just phenomenal. Dakota Bank Stadium, just phenomenal momentum. And then we also went out when we were out at Swisher Field for the first time today. Today was the first day we went out there, and got on the new turf out there, which is going to look different than last. There's more blue to it, but ultimately it's so much better than the surface we had, the playing surface we had. So when you look at it as a coach, and you're constantly trying, these guys hear me all the time saying, stay on your feet. You want to practice at a high level, you got to keep people up and you keep people healthy and get good work done. For us to have the practice facility we have, and now our game field being where it's just so much better than the old Swisher turf, which was honestly about 4 or 5 years past due. Ripple potato chips, is that what you refer to it as, Josh? Sometimes the old turf? He acts like he didn't ever say that before, but that's what it was. It was wavy, and it wasn't a safe turf. You feel like at times your student athletes are not in a safe environment when they're out there. And you know, I think I had somebody tell me afterwards, I wouldn't let my kids play on that turf, is what I was told by somebody last year. So it's much better, and we got a feel for it. And there are two different turfs, they're two different styles, so it'll be good for us to get on both. But that's really probably the biggest things. Our work ethic, our spirit has been great. Our guys have really come to work, and again, that's a direct correlation or really just a result of what our guys did this summer. We had 60-some guys here for most of the summer, and Coach Fritz, again, just phenomenal job with them, and that's been a carryover to how we practiced every day. And so, yeah, just a real exciting time, really. You get jacked up every time you go out to practice, and again, that's the fun thing about a new season. Any coach will tell you, you know, X number of freshmen that you have in volleyball. We've got 35, 36 new players in our program. That's an infusion of new life. And then you got the veteran guys here who, you know, are carrying the torch from the year before. So I'll talk about our team a little bit more. I'll introduce these guys first. Come on up here, Noah and Zach. Noah McPherson, linebacker, inside linebacker for us, was an all-conference player for us last year, and was a captain for us as well, was voted captain by his teammates. And Zach Colbreth, wide receiver for us, and also a punt return guy for us. So did you guys decide who's going first? You're going first? No, Noah's going. Noah and I do not have the same barber, in case anybody's curious. We've got a different barber, and mine makes more money than his does, evidently. So Noah McPherson.
Thanks, guys. First of all, how sweet are these new white jerseys? They're pretty awesome. So, I'm Noah McPherson. I'm from Park Rapids, Minnesota. I'm a senior linebacker, and I'm a business marketing major. First of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about the summer. We had 60-some guys showing up every single day at 5:30 in the morning. I want to give a big shout out to Coach Fritz. He's one of the best coaches I've had ever in my life. And there was, you know, juniors and seniors, like Coach Dash said, that were jumping 40, 50 pounds in their squat, bench, and clean. We had over 7 or 8 guys squat over 500 pounds, which was awesome. And there was a bunch of guys benching over 315. So, you know, it was pretty cool to see everyone get a lot stronger. I'd also like to talk a little bit about the new practice field. It's awesome. It's just a great complex, and we just want to thank everyone who put their time, donated money, was able to plan that out. It's just unbelievable, and we just want to thank you guys. I'll talk a little bit about the defense now. We have about 8 starters coming back, and a lot of old upperclassmen that played quite a bit too. So we have a lot of experience on the defense. And there's a lot of young guys, too, that are showing good signs in practice and that are going to be able to really impact the game. So with that.
Question? No?
Any questions?
When's the last time you had a haircut there?
Last fall camp, I trimmed my hair just a little bit. Buddha's is longer, so.
All right, my name is Zach Colbreth. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a senior wide receiver, and I'm a human performance and fitness major. I'll be talking about the offensive side of the ball. Just like you guys know, we have a new coach in Coach Hendrickson, which brings a new fresh start to our offense, which is nice, and the players love it. They're out there competing every day. They're going hard. Some of you guys may know we had a veteran wide receiver, Riley Franson, get hurt this spring. So we're really looking for a few young guys to step up and make some plays on the offensive side of the ball. And they've really been good about getting in their playbooks, staying after practice, getting extra catches, running routes, asking questions in meetings and stuff. We have a lot of returners on the offensive line. We have Chaga Kelly, he's a returning running back. As far as the first game, right now we're just worried about worried about taking it day by day, and whatever we can do to get better today, so we can prepare for Bemidji week 1, that'll be great. And just making sure today is better than yesterday, and working for a better tomorrow. Any questions?
Zach, does your wide receiver coach run routes with you?
Nah, he doesn't run routes with us. But he catches balls and he makes sure that we're doing the right thing, and he's good with us. I mean, he helps us with everything except for running routes. He throws the ball too, so.
Did you get any good tips from prior kick returners, punt returners? They've been pretty solid last couple of years.
Yeah. Last year I got some tips from Zach Barber and Shannon Barber the year before. I mean, the best thing that really helped me with that was just was watching what they do and like what makes them like get those breakaway plays and just make plays. Yeah.
Helps to be fast too, right?
It helps a little bit.
Yeah, that does too.
Talk about your journey, Zach, from Phoenix to Aberdeen, South Dakota.
Yeah, my journey from Phoenix to Aberdeen, South Dakota, it's kind of cool. Well, actually, I was just sitting in my my locker room one day, and Coach Josh just walks in. I'm like, man, who is this guy? I'm like, I never heard of this school before. So then my coach is like, Zach, you want to go in and you want to talk to this guy? And I'm like, sure. Get in there. He slams the paper down, starts barking. I'm like, whoa. What is this guy talking about? He's flipping pages super fast. I'm trying to keep up. I'm like, yo, can you go back, please? But basically, Coach Josh laid it down just like it was how it was going to be. He kept it real the whole time. He asked me if I wanted to come out here and visit, and I did, and I loved it, and now I'm here.
How about the photo shoot for the posters? There's a difference between Noah and Zach and kind of the energy there. How'd that go, man?
Well, yeah, there's definitely a difference in size, as you can see. I mean, but the photo shoot was cool, man. Noah had some cool stuff to do, and I came up with some pretty cool stuff. I mean, I always wanted to do a photo shoot. But yes, that was fun.
Anything else? All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. So really, again, can't thank Dr. Downs and Josh for really being the guys that lead the charge in this thing to get the things going we've got going in place here. And I'll talk about our seniors. We got 13 seniors here. We've got a couple guys who potentially we're hoping and have the ability to come back because of some medical red shirts that they had when they were younger. I would say the best way to describe our senior class is really just a lot of self-made players, you know, and I talked to our team about that the other day, and that's really a credit to them and the weight room, and you know, the two guys that were up here, Zach and Noah, are great examples, but really the whole collectively, the group of guys is really, you know, again, you have 13 seniors, which is really probably a little smaller. We're usually somewhere between 16 to 18, but that so much is on them. Like, you've got your head coach, you got coordinators, you got position coaches, but ultimately we tell the guys there's got to be some ownership there from you, and that's how younger kids learn how to practice. That's really one of the biggest challenges for us, is teaching young guys coming from high school to college how to practice, and then ultimately to play. But it's just, how do you practice? And when you come to our practices and you see these guys and what they do with our young players, that's really it, you know, because most young guys coming out of high school think they just know they know what's going on, they got it figured out, and then they get to college and they have no idea how to practice and how to perform. And that's the best way to describe these guys, really, is self-made guys who've really made themselves into good football players. And just like Josh said, the academic success of these guys is phenomenal as well. Several of them are going to graduate here in December. The others will graduate in May. So really, that makes you proud as a coach. And again, Coach Fritz gets credit for this as well, and position coach as well. To see guys, they come in here at whatever you weighed or whatever position you played, and a lot of these guys have switched positions since they got here, whether it be offense to defense or vice versa, or sometimes Jacob Wiedrich came here as a fourth down quarterback, right? That's what he describes himself. Now he's a punter and kicker for us, so that's supposed to be a joke, but he still announces himself as a fourth down quarterback. So, but yeah, good young group of guys coming up. We got We've got 3 transfers in our program, and guys that we're expecting and hoping that for them to eventually be able to come and make a difference for us. Big thing again with them is getting them in condition to where these guys are at, and that's a hard thing to do when you deal X number of years and a couple of really hard months in the summer, and guys come in, they're not quite ready to be practice at the level that they need to practice at. So they're getting caught up to that. And then we've got 3 to 5 first-year guys, freshmen, that we've identified now after 8 practices that, hey, these guys could potentially be able to play for us this year. And some of it's position-driven, some of it's honestly, hey, these guys are pretty darn good, and they're good enough to play. And that's something I tell recruits and parents during the recruiting process is we don't know. Football is probably, I would say, one of the most difficult sports there is, because you don't know until guys get out on the practice field and everybody's going live and you're running around are these guys ready to play or not? And there's usually a couple surprises, and there is this year of freshmen that we didn't know what to expect, and they've been pretty good so far. I'm not going to start naming names because we're not quite there yet, but it's a good competitive group of guys. Like I said, we're excited about that. So really keys for us is this: we've got a lot of competition, and we're continuing to build depth. I really think the keys for us are this: offensively, we've got to take better care of the football. And again, not dwelling on last year for anything, but that's such a huge part of the game right now. You really got to take care of the ball, protect the ball. It's something I've believed in ever since I've been a head coach, and I was fortunate because Coach Hendrickson came in, and that was even a bigger part of what he preaches and believes in than what I did. So that was an easy transition. Got to take good care of the ball. Our offensive guys know it. Defensive guys know it. Along with that, defensively, you've got to create more takeaways than we did a year ago. And again, that's such a huge part of the game of football now, is getting your offense on short fields, scoring on defense. Talk about Noah McPherson. He's a guy that scored a couple touchdowns for us on defense last year. That's just huge. And if both those games that we scored on defense, we won the game by 1 score. So, and essentially it's a 14-point swing when you score on defense. So create takeaways, and then really we got to make plays when needed. And there was times, again, when you go back as a coach and you look at the fall and the spring, it's like, hey, we got opportunities to make plays here on one side of the ball or the other. You really got to do that, and that's really what separates, because every game there's going to be about half a dozen plays in about every football game that ultimately are going to decide that. Unless one team's just a whole lot better than the other team, there's a half a dozen plays that offense, defense, kicking game, whatever, that's going to determine the game or have a huge impact on it. And we probably didn't do that enough in last year's, particularly early in the year, and as the year went on, we did a better job of that. So number 4 is staying healthy. Every football coach in America, probably every coach, but we have a lot of, you got a lot of guys banged up, and you got to keep guys healthy. Again, that goes back to our training staff with Brandon and his staff, and then our strength and conditioning staff, getting guys in the right position and getting them healthy. And if they do get banged up, which is going to happen, how quickly can we get you back into the fold? And really, our goal is to we talked about this last year. Our goal is to have the best season in the history of our program. That's what we're shooting for. And it really just starts by, like Zach said, winning the first game, being 1-0. And that is a cliche, but there's a reason it's a cliche. So that's really what we're shooting for. And again, just unbelievable stuff going on, and excited for that. And it's a little different this year. We're about 8 practices in. Other years we've had our media day one of the first few days of practice, and I couldn't tell you a whole lot. But right now we're just excited about that. And again, getting guys healthy, getting guys back, and continuing to progress. I talked to one of my best friends last night. He's the head coach at UND, and he has the same thing there that we have here. It's like, all right, you still got to have competition. You still got to have guys getting after it, but you got to keep your team healthy. And it's kind of a fine line that you walk as a coach, and we're walking that right now. And that's a huge thing for us. Let's stay healthy. Let's keep competing, and then let's prepare to get ourselves in the game week, which is going to be a week and a half. We have our first scrimmage on Wednesday, the 22nd of August. That'll be our big scrimmage. That's at 6:30 at Swisher Field. That'll really be our big game-like scrimmage that we will have before we get into game week. So, any questions before we get out of here? Anybody have anything they're curious about, questions about?
How about the new schedule changes here, going from north to south, or first starting the year out?
Yeah, that's one thing we decided a year ago last summer, the football coaches. If you follow it all, we play our South crossover games. We play the 4 South games first, and then we play our 7 North opponents. That's what we've done really since, I think, 2011 or 2012. So we decided really probably as a change-up, some travel things came into play for some teams. Really for us, we're pretty much centrally located. Our our travel north and south is about the same. Actually, there's several south teams that are closer than north teams, but that's just where we're at. We're in the North Division. So we do play. We play Bemidji, we play Minot, we play Moorhead, and we play St. Cloud, first 4 games here. So that's different. Those are teams we've traditionally played at the end, and then we play our south games in the middle. So it'll be interesting to see how that is. Clearly you have a North Division game right off the bat, and again, that's the one thing that's different about football than any other sport, is that we play 11 games, we play 11 conference games. There's no preseason, there's no exhibition, there's no non-conference. We're just at it. It's the same for the teams you're playing, so it is what it is. So yeah, we're playing a team, Bemidji, that it's been, I think they're coming off a couple 8-3 seasons, and I know our guys are going to be fired up to go up there and play and get after it. We haven't played as well against them the last couple of years as we like, and the guys in the room know that. And so yeah, it'll be different, and we'll play the south teams in the middle and then finish up with 3 north games. So yeah, it's something we decided as a coaching within the coaches of the Northern Sun to probably change it up and help some teams out with travel. So it'll be exciting. You get to a North Division game right off the bat, and on August 30th we'll be in Bemidji playing a North Division rival team we've been playing forever. So yeah, that's how that all came down. John, did you have a question? We did play there November, I think, 14th a couple of years ago, and it wasn't the warmest game I've ever coached for these guys that were up there. So, anything else? Any other questions? Zach?
Position-wise, you got some specific positions where you return a lot of depth, whether it's linebacker or something that's kind of leading your defense, your offense?
Yeah, I think our like you mentioned, linebacker has been a group with Noah and Josh Coyle. Returning stars Joe Gorkuber, Preston Dressler, Braden McNary, those 5 guys have played a lot. Bryce Owatsky's played a lot of football for us. So we've got 6 guys, and we've got some younger guys, there as well. So we've probably got 6 to 8 guys at linebacker. Secondary, a couple, Etienne Ezef, Alex Gray are both back. Brady Thiel just played a lot for us. AJ Frazier as well, and then Casey Yergain had a great summer. He's getting himself in great position to be a contributor too. So, and then D-line, we got our numbers there are good. We have 14 or 15 D linemen, which is a lot. Landon Hayline, Zach Mose, Tyler Trefethrin all played a lot for us last year. And typically, we're going to play 6-7 guys there at those spots. So I think those are probably the, continuing to build the depth there. Offensive line is Drew Farman and Remy Allison both played and started a lot. Drew started every game. Remy started the last 7 games for us. Kyle Trefethen played the last 7 games. So there it's a matter of filling in guys and having competition there. That's the cool thing about that. And guys know, hey, I don't have an automatic spot returning. Olaf Hansen's had a great summer and spring and summer, and he's gotten himself in great position as well. Zach talked a little bit about wide receiver with Zach. Also, Riley Franson, if you know Riley, was just a phenomenal player for us and just a fantastic leader. Won't be able to finish up his career here. Unfortunately, he's going to graduate in December and get into nursing school because of injuries. And then Robert Vermachka coming off an injury. We're trying to get him healthy. Played a lot for us last year, and Nick Kale as well. So, and then at quarterback, Hunter Troutman started the last 7 games for us, and he's really taken the bull by the horns. Feel good about the rest of the crew there as well with Jared Taylor and Preston Arity. And then Zach also mentioned Chaka Kelly, who's played a lot of downs. Chaka actually played in 2014, his true freshman year, played a couple games and got hurt, so he medical redshirted that year. So being your 5th season of competition for us, Chaka will, and Gerald Maxwell, who's really between he and Chaka, we feel a couple of really talented physical backs there. So and then again, young guys filling in, and we've got some freshmen at wide receiver and running back and stuff that have shown some good things. And depth on the O-line, Zach, is something that we continue to work on, and that's what we're battling to get better at, is continue to get deeper on the offensive line group. And then Jacob Wiederick back as our punter, been in there for 5 years as a punter kicker, and good competition there at the kicker spot with Jacob and Mitch Shockert and Peyton Hoy as well. Okay, anything else? Okay, well, again, our scrimmage is on August 22nd, which is a Wednesday, and then Josh mentioned we open up at Bemidji on the 30th of August, and our home opener is the Insura Crop Egg Bowl on Thursday, September 6th at 7 o'clock against Minot. So, anything else? Ashley, we're all good? Just the traditional ending and get everybody out of here? Go Wolves!